Welcome to episode 48 of Rebels Without a Pod, the show that dares ask the question, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to hear us? Little smile from that, it's okay. My name's John, and joining me tonight, Naveen on music and audio production.
Hello there.
And Pod Daddy Eric, depending on the results of the upcoming Papal Conclave, potentially Pope Daddy the Fourth.
Ooh. Shabba-ba-doo, bop, shabba-da-doo, bop, shabba-da-doo, bop.
White smoke.
Sounds like a page out of Hanson there. Bop.
Bop. Shabba-da, bop, bop.
Pope. Pope. Our first video to ever get negative views. Andy, in preparation for next week's Dick Tracy episode, is in the interrogation room currently questioning Mumbles McManus. Last update I got from Andy just reads, we wish him well and look forward to his return next week. All our content is currently up on the Rebels Without a Pod YouTube channel. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Gentlemen, we had our first ever video hit 50 views just a couple days ago with the Handmaiden. The Handmaiden of all.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fans of the source material, Fingersmith.
Uh-huh.
They were just eating this one up.
Handmaiden, Fingersmith. Just awful lot of gloves in that movie. I don't know that we remarked on it, but
yeah, I would be fine with no gloves. Naked hands.
Yeah. Raw
yeah, I wasn't implying something sexual, of course not.
No.
I was just saying, gloves off in the game of love.
Scissor me timbers. No movie tonight. Instead, we'll be conducting another Rebels Scum episode, our conversation format where we chill and just kind of discuss fingering and the other small matters of the day. We'll also be doing some short form reviews at the back half of the episode. Each host has picked an episode of modern prestige TV that they've asked the others to watch and talk a little bit about. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But gentlemen, how's it going?
Oh man, I didn't want to do this tonight. I really didn't. I intentionally saved it for tonight, but I didn't want to do this. I broke.
You broke.
I broke.
What'd you buy?
You broke down.
I broke. You know what it was? I think I was testing myself at first. I didn't think I was actually going to do it. I was just like, I just want to try it because I think I can do it. And then I can brag about it. And then I don't have to go through with it. But then I just kind of stuck with it. So the Thursday night, I stayed up till this would be Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday night, I stayed up till 12 o'clock at night. As soon as it hit 12, I jumped on Walmart's website and put in for pre-order for Switch 2.
So were you able to get it?
It's a long story, but the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, so you went on a little bit of a journey. Let's hear it.
There was a small journey there.
Okay.
So there's 3 websites that were going to be selling the Switch 2 at midnight on Wednesday. They're going to be selling not just the systems. It was 2 systems. One was a bundle that came with a digital copy
with Mario Kart, right?
Mario Kart, yep. If you bought the physical copy, it's $80, which is just insane for a video game.
There's some suspicion that that's largely there to kind of drive console sales rather than an actual price point that they're seriously thinking about.
I agree, although if you take a look at some of the other games for sale, they all range probably about the cheapest being $40. The other one that I pre-ordered, Donkey Kong Bonanza, is $70. So. Oh,
really?
And that actually comes out like a month after the system.
Really?
So it's still a little cartridge now, right?
Yeah, it's still a little cartridge, and the problem they're running into too is because their cartridges can't fit as much space on them, like as much memory. So what ends up happening is they'll just be like a link to a digital copy.
That they put just on the cartridge.
Yeah, they put on the cartridge. So you're paying.
It's basically a redirect to like a website.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Funny.
Yeah. Although I mean, other systems do that. PS5's been doing that for a while for bigger games. So I get it. but people have always been, like those fond memories of Nintendo. You got the cartridges. It's like it's just a game on a cartridge. It's a self-contained thing. And then you collect them and you put all the cartridges on your shelf and it looks cool. But to think that they're all like dead inside is just horrifying.
Right.
To think that there is the kind of sentimental and the collecting element of it, and there's also just kind of the question too, sort of there has been so much shakiness and shadiness with sort of like the way that these big companies kind of treat kind of treat their like intellectual property. Like it seems to be a model that is moving away from private ownership, and that's what's driven sort of a kind of physical media collection in a lot of different spaces. Video games, obviously one, but like movies are another, kind of music like another thing after that. Who is to say when you have these situations where if you have a you think about, I'm getting a physical cartridge, but that cartridge just redirects me into like a digital storefront. Yep. What guarantees can I be given that that what is kind of there on that on that storefront will be something that I own in perpetuity? Like you can't send it out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. When I buy these things, I think of the end of the world.
Sure.
When it gets to the end of the world and there's no internet, the internet's dead. You can't communicate with people, but you still manage to have some source of electricity. You can take your old console that you remember for like one dying memory and put a game in and play it.
Right.
And then just ride the journey out.
And you think to yourself, this is going to be a hell of a 2027.
I paid how much for this Mario Kart? Whoosh.
I mean, the way it sounds like it's going to be like cartridges are going to be like half the cost of the console. They keep going.
It's nuts too. I guess and I was mentioning that these ones that they'll send you to like a link that just starts automatically downloading the game for you where it's not contained on the cartridge. It seems to be happening more with like third-party games. So I think it's
sure.
If you've tried like Fortnite, for example, on Switch, or you've played I'm trying to think, like Fallout or something like that. Actually, I don't even know if Fallout's on there, like Fallout 4 or something. But if you play those kind of games, the graphics are so bad. Like it's really pixelated.
The Switch essentially at this point is a 10-year-old Android tablet, but like a little bit kind of like hardware customization. But it's never been that's been the angle that basically post GameCube Nintendo was just like you know what. We're not going to. We're just getting out of the arms race for like the most powerful hardware. We're going to try to like design like the best software that we can kind of possibly do. But we're going to, on the electronic side, on the console side, we're going to do family level, entry level stuff rather than just try to keep up with kind of like the way that that PC gaming, PlayStation and Xbox has already kind of cornered that part of the market. It's with like a blue ocean strategy, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, put it this way. It took me about half an hour to get a copy of the game, pre-ordered the game. Sorry, not the game, the system. There's 3 websites that posted it, I mentioned at the same time. They were Walmart, Target, Best Buy, all at midnight. I started on Walmart. They have this weird thing, right, where you click on the game to put it in your cart, and then it just gives you a prompt saying, hold this button down to confirm that you're human. So you hold it down for about 10 seconds. You have no idea what's going on. And then it just brings you back.
Holding down a button, something definitely a robot can't do.
No, true. Yeah. I don't know about AI. Like AI-infused robots might have, or AI-infused humans at this point with brain implants. There are plenty of options. But I held it down.
You can teach a robot to push a button, but can you teach them to finger?
But can you teach them to love? That's a deeper question.
Yeah.
Naveen got all wide-eyed at that. He's like,
can you teach him to love? Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I watched that Netflix series any day of the week. That's one for the missus. I held it down 10 seconds. It brings me back to the main screen, and then it's like, would you like 50% off a Walmart
Walmart Plus or whatever?
Plus or whatever it is thing? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, wait. Did I get the game?
They're trying to upsell you in the middle of the fucking Switch pre-order.
Yeah, so I go back, hold it down. I push the button to reserve it, hold it down again, and then it just says, you're in line. And I'm like, okay, I'm in line. But it gives you this explicit warning saying, you're in line, but we're really low on systems, so you probably won't get one.
Oh, okay.
So they try to let you down like ahead of time. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
Right.
I sit there, about 20 minutes goes by. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to see what else there is. I click on Best Buy. They're not even available yet. So something's happened at their website. I click on Target and it's available. I put it in my cart, and then I was logged in, by the way, into my account. So everything should already be saved in there. But then it's like prompting me like, fill in all your information. What's your name? What's your address? What's your credit card information, which is already saved from my account. So I'm like, okay, something's a little fishy here. And when you place the order, then it just says like system error. So everything was going bananas. What ended up happening is I stayed in line. The Best Buy finally posted at 12:30 that you could get them. So I was in line with them because they offer the same kind of deal. I was in line with Walmart still. Target, I put the system in my cart again. Now it was saving.
All I can picture is you're the guy in like the back of a van during in a heist movie. You got like multiple monitors, and you're like trying to get into the mainframe.
You should see it. So I just got a new phone recently. So I was using my old phone. I was using my new phone. I was using my laptop. I was just on all cylinders.
Incredible.
I did that thing that you do when you're like, you're kind of like maybe losing patience and you're trying to get Beyonce tickets or something. Where you're just like keep clicking to place the order, and it keeps warning you like, the system is busy. Try back later. And I just kept hitting it. And maybe about
this is all happening at 2 a.m, which I imagine makes it even like more.
Yeah, it was like 12:30 at that point, but I kept hitting it, and then all of a sudden it just went through. It's just like, thank you for placing your order. I was like, oh shit, what happened?
Which retailer was this?
This was Target. No. So here's the deal. Best Buy I gave up pretty early. I was just going to see if I could get on these other websites as well, so I left them going in line. Walmart, I checked in. It was probably about 1:10, still waiting in line. And by that time, I went back to like Best Buy's website, and I saw that they had sold out.
Completely sold out.
Not completely, but it's like the one without the Mario Kart attached to it, I think, was sold out. Oh no, sorry, reverse. The one with the Mario Kart package was sold out. You could still maybe get the system itself. And so I was just like, okay, I got it. That's great. Okay, I was all wired now because I just did something insane. Half an hour goes by, and I keep checking my email, and I'm like, this is too good to be true. And I see the email hasn't come through from Target saying that I've placed an order. So I'm like, okay, that's worrisome. I get a warning on my phone, probably about maybe like 1:15, 1:20, saying suspicious activity in your credit card. Did you place this order? And then I was like, yes. And it was for, whatever, like $600. Right. And I'm like, okay, $600 is a little high. The system with tax is about $530. So that, but I'm just going to say yes, because if it fucks me for whatever reason, I don't want to take that chance.
You don't want a cancellation or a chargeback or whatever else.
So what I do, I go, after I say yes, I go into my Bank of America account. I check my card, and I look and see what happened. And what happened is the first time I tried to place the order where I put all my information in, I had the Donkey Kart game in my cart with the system. About 600. And my bank flagged that, and they thought it was suspicious activity. So what they did is, even though I accepted that I had placed that order, they canceled that order, and I had to essentially reorder it.
Really?
So I'm like, oh my God, did they cancel my thing after all? And then I go and I look, and I see pending orders, and the one that was for $530 for the other
just like the base system with the game
was still safe. So I was like, did it.
That congratulations, man! Like that was a podcast I was listening to this morning was like literally just half everybody kind of relaying like the different sort of kind of switch to sort of pre-order experiences that they've had. Now it's you have two kind of main consoles in your home, right? There's your Switch and your PlayStation 5. Out of the two, kind of family-wide, what's the more played out of the console, you would say? Out of the two consoles?
Honestly, probably PS5, only just because it's like I've been playing Fortnite, although I'm going to take a break from that. But I was playing Fortnite. I was playing like a bunch of different stuff, like the Resident Evil remakes. I had
Sure.
played those on there. I played that. Oh shoot, what's that cat game? The one with the cat.
Stray. I think you're
Stray. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stray. I had played Stray on there. That was a quick one. It was kind of fun.
Mhm.
I've got a pretty good collection of like horror, like Blu-ray discs and like 4K and stuff like that. So
Right.
I'll watch those on the system as well. So I use that one quite a bit. But the Switch, I use more when like
the Switch is kind of been
everything
like the
else is
family
being used.
machine too, right? 'Cause
It is.
sort
It
of,
is. But my family, we don't play Mario Kart. We don't play Smash. Any of those games.
Mhm.
So I'm usually just playing like indie titles on there or like Nintendo only games. Like I was just playing the Mario RPG remake
Oh, sure.
recently, which is it's pretty fun. I enjoyed that one. I took that one to Paris with me and I got like 10 hours in.
Mhm.
I never played the original, but it's a fun one. It's quick. It reminds me of those Mario Luigi games that
Oh,
you got
sure.
me
Like the
into.
ones I messed with one or two of those when I had a 3DS kind of briefly, and those
Yeah.
been like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I have to top the story by saying what happened after I got the Switch 2
Okay.
and all this craziness. I managed to fall asleep at 2 a.m.
Mhm.
Fell into a deep sleep.
Hmm.
I think I was watching Daredevil. By the way, I was wrapping up season 1 because I'm rewatching it
Mhm.
of the original.
Oh, so you haven't even got to the.
I haven't
like,
watched
Disney
Born
Plus
Again yet. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I fell asleep like halfway through an episode. Last thing I heard was like Vanessa, like echoes through my brain.
Mhm.
Vanessa. And I had this insane dream where I was talking to somebody and then it glitched in my brain.
Mhm.
And then I repeated myself and said the exact same thing again and it glitched and it kept happening repeatedly. And it felt like an eternity in my brain
Mhm.
where I was glitching. And it was not like I was aware that I was saying the same thing. I mean, I was aware after I woke up, like, what the hell happened? But it was like a dream. I guess I looked it up. It's called looping, a looping
Okay.
dream, where you just keep looping the same sequence or same thing over
Right.
and over and over and over again.
This
And
is your brain trying to prove to itself that you're not a robot.
I don't even know what it was. Yeah, somebody was holding down the button for me. And it's just like, does not compute and brings me back and I get a Walmart Plus subscription.
Some button holding in the Handmaiden.
Yeah.
100 views, guys. We're getting there.
Click, click, click. So I kept having this messed up dream. I looked it up on Reddit and I was like, what is a looping dream? What does it indicate? And there was multiple things. One was just kind of like you're having stress at work. It's too much to handle. Another thing could be just kind of like self-doubt. Or it could be just like something, what did they say? You are having trouble, like you have like a secret or something, or you have like a confession, but you're having trouble coming out with and confessing. So it's just
Are there
like
citations of this, or
burdening you.
is this just what people on Reddit are?
It's Reddit. It's Reddit. Who do you? This is like, yeah, it's not some.
So
doctor,
it's
not WebMD.
It's not pointing to something at the Cleveland
There was
Clinic or anything else.
no private consultation there.
I see.
I do like here's the thing though. I like the last reason for why this could be happening. The last one was they're like overall though, if you're having a looping dream, this usually points to a severe case of PTSD. And I was like, I think that's the one. That's the one. I'll go with the last one.
You see those
sure it's not
double
all of the
charges
above?
from Target. Thinking back, like, did I
Target.
completely check like the website URL when I was kind of put my credit card information in? Like I've lost sleep like that before.
Yeah, I just switched to. I'm gonna get switched to and just start like sobbing and just crying and confessing all the awful things I did as I hold it.
Nice. Well, congratulations to
Thank you. A proud father.
that. Naveen, any stories or anything you want to tell us about?
No, I mean, it's just back to work this week. Last week I had off and put in new flooring in one of the bedrooms, and then this week's just back to work and back at it for the home stretch before summer vacation.
What's the when does the school year wind down for you?
Last day for me is the 11th of June.
Nice.
Why don't you bring up the thing we've been working on, or you've been working on?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We can go over that. I didn't know if you wanted to keep that a surprise or anything.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So Eric kind of challenged me, and we are thinking about doing a collaboration here. But we've been for our listeners out there who haven't been listening since the beginning. We've come up to about a year anniversary. So we've been doing this for we have been doing this
just a year and change, complete nonsense, in and out pretty much every single week.
I think it's been a year since we've all of us together. I mean, Andy's not here, may rest in peace.
It was actually, I want to say last week was the 1 year anniversary of us recording Big Trouble in Little China together.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
It was like April 17th, 2024. I want to say was our first kind of like 4-man recording.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not actually a year since we've been releasing them. Excuse me, but a year since we started recording, getting this off the ground and figuring out format and all that stuff.
We wanted to make sure we were seasoned professionals before we went completely public with the show.
How many more years do we need to get to that point?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is after we've practiced.
Yeah, I know. Hey, this is a weekly thing for us. You think we get better at it, but we continue to fail.
Well, something happened with the handmaiden.
Right.
They should have used a second hand. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Rosy palms. But anyways,
ooh, that's a callback.
Yeah.
Rosy palms.
But anyways, Eric reached out and he's like, we should probably come up with a new theme, one that's a little bit more rocking and change it up. So obviously I don't have one to I have something, but I don't have it prepared to
you don't have it queued up
to play it
I said, let's get it ready by this episode. And I was supposed to we loosely introduce it. And then you're like, well, I have this kind of thing put together. It's kind of rough, and then you play it and then everybody's just like, oh shit. Wow. Okay. That's like a full on production. That's amazing.
Well, it's not there yet.
I mean, this is what he's telling you like a week after forgetting to do like the draft rankings.
I'm just saying, look, if you don't have a Full House episode like queued up, then we're in trouble here. We're in big trouble.
Right.
You can hum it if you want.
Yeah.
Just kind of like riff. Just kind of you could do acapella.
Yeah. No, that's not my strong suit.
It's catchy. It's catchy.
Tell us like a little bit about like your creative process for kind of putting like the new theme together.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Well, Eric said, make it a little bit more rocking. Like our original theme, the one we're using right now, is more of a surf rock, I would say, to describe it. So get a little more rocking. And he had a favorite podcast. What was it? It was Metal.
Oh, Metal Jesus Rocks. He does a YouTube show. It's all about like it's like this guy that used to work at Sierra. I don't know if you know Sierra. They did like the King's Quest series.
It was a very famous video game, like PC video game studio from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, he used to work there, and a couple of his buddies and him, they started this YouTube channel, and he just he's pretty big now. He's been doing it for years. It's cool. Actually, one of the people he used to have on the show, she moved to Japan. And so he does like these Japanese special ones where he goes out and visits her, and then they do like video game hunting and stuff like that.
To go to Akihabara or Shinjuku.
Oh yeah. She knows all the places. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So he had sent me the theme song for that, and I just listened to it a few times just to kind of get an idea of what he was thinking of, and I actually ran through a few riffs and things and just kind of started playing stuff and running into some roadblocks and speed bumps, but then just something. I went back to some old stuff that I did with old high school, early college years band that we had. And then
was this feedback or fifth column, or which was the?
This was more fifth column in that era, so more of the college era. But it was with a lot of the guys from the high school era of feedback and Salacious Crumb there.
Right.
Since we all combined and became fifth column.
It was kind of the damn Yankees of your like the two different sort of like high school groups that are friends of Ren.
Right. And then it just kind of came to, especially the bridge part that was kind of on the fly.
It's a full song. It's not what I expected. I thought it was just going to be like a 30-second clip or something, but it's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was
Nice.
pretty neat. And it
cool.
just kind of flew. But I mean, it's not. It's rough, like I said, and and like you had mentioned, there's some parts that are not in time, and I'm like, I don't know. So it's kind of also another reason.
I didn't say that. I thought, hey, that's you, man. I don't know what kind of looping dreams you have, but you need more B12 or something. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like right away, it's really catchy. I mentioned too, maybe like we can do a collaboration or something. I thought it'd be cool if kind of like all four of us were able to kind of like contribute. I thought it might give John another reason to use his bells.
I pulled some ice out of like the freezer just before we started to record from like my water, and
okay. Continue.
Bells just kind of went off, and it's still making me laugh like 2 weeks later.
Your bells are in your freezer?
Yikes. You like chilled bells?
Yeah.
They started as heads as heads. Bells. I'm just trying to like kind of cool it down like a little bit.
Oh no, this is how the best snuff films start. Bells in the freezer. I don't know. I don't know how they continue from there. I just know it ends in murder.
Yeah, maybe need to get Nicolas Cage on the prowl there.
Get the cage. Cage.
Well, Naveen, I'm very, very excited to hear that. It's cool that you've been working on this thing. It's wild that you're sort of kind of pulling back to like fifth column days to kind of get some like the musical ideas. But yeah, this is Andy's going to be like kind of pretty stoked to hear about this as well. I'm sure.
Yeah, and I was going to mention it as well when I was talking with Eric, and Eric kind of brought it up a little quicker than I did. Mm-hmm. But the collaboration part would be actually pretty neat too. Yeah. Obviously, we've got this little semblance of it that I've done already. Throw it out to all of you guys actually, and then it's like, all right, what are you going to add to it?
I am far and above like the least musically kind of talented and inclined to like the four of you, but I'll sort of put in what I can put in.
You could be the bell boy, the bellhop.
Yeah. Get some tambourine, something, yeah.
John's like, hold on. I'm chilling my bells. All right. They're nice and frosty. Let's go.
They just have a resonance when they're nice and cold.
Right.
It's like the frost just kind of melts off.
It's kind of like the opposite of kind of like the warm tones you get like on vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Well, very cool. I want to kind of tell a story quickly about what happened to me last night. So it's kind of funny, like looking back on it, because yesterday I was like a little bit bored. I've kind of wrapped everything up that I sort of need to do. My girlfriend is visiting actually tomorrow. I was kind of just doing like a lot of kind of like cleaning and cooking and prep work for that, and all the things kind of like for my new job, like the onboarding paperwork is pretty much done. So I was kind of like, I was feeling like a little kind of cabin fever. I just kind of want to kind of head into town, kind of do stuff. So I saw a movie, and I went to a local a rock show at a local club after the movie was done. It was funny because when I woke up this morning, I'm trying to decide what to talk about on the pod. The movie was actually like the first thing that was kind of in my mind. Like, I kind of want to tell the guys a story about this, and like, and just I have this thought, this other thought. But then I was like, wait a minute, what happened at the rock show might actually be like a lot more interesting. So I'll kind of throw both out to you guys, and you kind of be the judge about like what.
You know what? What about that third option with the really interesting Uber driver that has a podcast?
If I ever did like a Vegas Uber
you never
driver
found
story,
him again?
It wouldn't be him. I would read a series of text messages I sent my buddy Leonard after I took an Uber ride with this driver named Game. That's an amazing one. That's one for like Rebel Scum 7 though. Here's what happened last night.
Go for it. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
My favorite local sort of rock club in all Vegas, Count Vamps. We'll shout out there. They started. It used to be kind of post-COVID. They just be open on weekends, do Friday night shows, Saturday night shows. The place has been doing well enough. It's kind of known enough at this point that they're pretty frequently now doing Thursday night shows as well. So I'm there. I've gotten back from the movie. I'm kind of like awake. I'm just kind of amped up, and I just decided to myself, you know what? It's usually not too crowded on Thursday nights. I feel like kind of staying out late. Why don't I just kind of I'll get an Uber, like I'll head down and just whatever's playing is what's playing. So I get down there. It's usually depends on the night, but the cover there, it's a very reasonable place. It's like $5, $10 sometimes. Like a lot of nights you just can
It's
kind of get it for free.
ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you required to buy drinks?
No, nothing.
No, you're not.
No minimums, and like the beer is reasonably priced. It's really one of like the best deals in town. But I get there thinking it's going to be like a light crowd because it's a Thursday, but when I arrived, there's a line of people coming out the door. Like the patio was full up, like the bar is full up. It's as packed as I've ever seen the place. Right. So I go in, and it's wall to wall people. And I found out later, about 5 minutes after I arrived, like the show had actually completely sold out for like the night. So I got like one of the absolute last tickets there. I go to the front desk, and it's $30. Jesus. Yeah. Which is just unfucking heard of, kind of like
the first time you've ever paid.
Yeah.
Or if you've paid more than $10.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you should have got the Walmart.
I don't know who's playing tonight. I'm like, holy shit, is this like Marty Friedman, or like, just they get random, really interesting, famous people from top, like you Marty Friedman's, or your
dude Marty Friedman,
like John Fives, or like
Marty Friedman also speaks fluent Japanese. I'm dead serious.
I know that that Vamped is when he comes back to the States. Vamped is always the place he does like us.
I've seen him on Japanese TV quite a bit. I think I told you before he was on like some rock TV show where they're trying to discover like undiscovered talent, and they bring on like street musicians and people that play at like small clubs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's cool because they always ask for his opinion because he's like big American rock star. Right. And he still has the hair and everything.
It can't be overstated how popular Megadeth is to this day in Japan. Just the number one American metal act, and like second place isn't even like sort of like particularly close.
Yeah.
So I go there. I'm like, holy shit, who's playing tonight? This could be like really interesting. So I go, I'm pushed way into like the back, like the back of the venue. And the first thing I notice is that in the crowd there are so many midgets. There are dozens.
Yeah.
What's the word? Jesus Christ! I know it's the new administration, but I mean, buddy, have some tact. I mean,
what's the woke?
What do they call it? The unfortunate? I think is that the correct term?
Fun size? Should I be saying fun
size?
Damn.
I don't.
All right, that one I will delete.
There were a lot. There were a shocking, almost unnerving number of tiny people, like in the audience.
Tiny people.
Yeah.
With their tiny hats.
With their tiny hats, and they're all there, and they're so amped up to see like a rock show, and they're partying, and they got sort of kind of cool club wear on, and they're knocking down drinks. There's a couple, kind of a mixed couple, like if you will, a guy about my height with his midget girlfriend, and they are so in love. They are so into each other. The entire time, I'm just kind of staring at them and just be like, how does any of that work?
You know how he loves it, right? He's just like walk forward and breathe.
I've spent $30, which I don't love, but all the midgets are making me sick of them. Like, wait a minute. What if this is an actual midget show? What if like the band is all tiny people? Like, I'm
Wait, did you pay full price or half price?
I said I only have 20 on me. I'm a little short.
Must have left my coupon in my shorts.
So I'm there like, this is going to be fucking cool, whatever it is. So the band came out, and I was very disappointed to see all just 5 regular sized dudes.
Stupid normies.
Right. I was kind of had in my mind like maybe they would be like a Joe C character will sort of come out or something like that, but no, just like the little people all kind of stayed in the crowd and kind of chilled the entire time. They were part of the stage show. But so band walks out. Everybody but the lead singer kind of comes out first. People excited, and then lead singer. I know nothing about this band. I don't know who this guy is, but this guy walks out, and it's this huge roar from like the crowd. Everybody's like losing their minds. I'm like, okay, I'm stoked for this. Like, let's kind of see where this goes. And they start playing, and the best I could describe them is fine. Like, they're doing original shit. It's not particularly good. It's kind of very sort of kind of bog standard, kind of just 2000s, like a little bit like not so much kind of new metal, but just the way like a million of those bands fucking kind of sounded like in the aughts. It's just kind of one of these acts. Yeah. And the singer, despite how excited the people are they're just people are so stoked to see him, but he's not particularly great. Like he keeps running out of breath. Like his guitar player has to kind of keep on like singing backup for like a couple different things, but he's talking to the crowd like between songs, and everybody is just going crazy. Just everybody's like eating it up. This younger black guy is standing next to me, and they finish. I guess one like they're kind of big famous songs. Everybody is going nuts, and like the young black guy, he turns to me, and he goes, "Chris Jericho. Can you fucking believe it's Chris Jericho on stage?"
Really?
And I'm
the wrestler
there, and I'm like, he was so excited, and I didn't know what else to say. So I don't know why my mind immediately went to this, but I went. He said, "Can you fucking believe it, Chris Jericho?" And I just went, "True."
I can't believe it.
First thing, it just kind of slipped out. He didn't talk to me after that.
You ruined this for me, by the way. I was waiting for you to say like, and the lead singer, he's like sweating profusely, and he's wearing a trench coat, and then at one point he just kind of like tumbles over and then opens up his trench coat. It just pops open, and then just like 3 people run out of it.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
I know. I told you we should have gone with a horse.
But now, here's the thing. I don't know who Chris Jericho is.
Really?
I'm saying that really, really sincerely. I kind of had in the back of my head that this guy is. This is just. I think he's a wrestler. I think he's from kind of like I've said this before on the podcast. We didn't have cable when I grew up, and there are just the last WrestleMania I watched. I'm pretty sure had Andre the Giant in it.
Sounds about right. I think I only watched until like late 80s or something like that. Chris Jericho, I don't know when he actually popped up. Probably
I say late 90s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Kind of around the same time as like The Rock
thing.
and Mankind. He's just like a contemporary of these guys.
Yeah, I would say around there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only reason I just mentioned a second, the only reason I'm aware of him is because he was in Terrifier 2. He really wanted to be a part of the movie, so they let him be like, it's a little part at the very end where it's
isn't he like an orderly and like the
and like some like a sane asylum or something, and he's just like an orderly or a guard or something. And he has a funny scene though too, where it's just like he has this, there's this jelly mold on the counter,
right.
But it's like a brain, and he's just like, oh yeah, my wife made that for me. She makes it for me every year. And the other girl that's there on duty, she's like, that's disgusting. Ugh. And he's just like, oh, you got to try it. It's delicious. He just kind of like starts, eating it up with his hands. It's pretty funny.
All right. And then like a little person comes out. He's like, cool story, Hansel. so okay, like so Chris Jericho got that figured out. Still no explanation for like the midgets. Okay. So I'm there for like about an hour, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired. This band isn't particularly good. People are kind of honing in on the fact it's not really a very exciting show, and everybody's kind of like filing out. The midgets have all left back to Oz or like wherever the fuck. So I call up an Uber driver, and the guy pulls up, and we're driving home, and I'm like, hey man, do you know anything about wrestling at all? And I got maybe the best informed on wrestling Uber driver in the entirety of like Las Vegas, because like this guy was a fucking encyclopedia. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm just coming back from. I popped in the van randomly. Chris Jericho and his band was playing, and the guy was immediately, he's like, "Oh, Fozzy, yeah. Man, they've been around 25 years. They got like 19 albums. Like he's kind of going on like apparently this is like a decades long thing that he's been doing, and he's telling me all about that. The reason that they're doing this is Vegas actually hosted WrestleMania like a few days prior.
Oh,
so
cool.
all these people are sort of in the area. So he's explaining all this to me, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's very cool. I appreciate the knowledge. One thing I'm still confused about, though, there are a bunch of midgets at the show also. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, what did he fucking call them? He's like, they're part of the WrestleMania this year. They're called the Little League.
The Little League.
it was like that, but crazier. If that makes sense.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's the rock show I went to, and then previous to that, the movie I saw was Star Wars Episode 3.
Oh, sweet! I just saw the poster for that the other day. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
which came out
that again
20 years ago, and which is not a number that I really love.
That was my favorite of the first three.
Yeah.
The pod racing was okay.
Mm.
In the first one, second one is just
Second
away.
one's kind of a mess. Like the third one, I kind of stand by. Like that's where they should have started. I think.
Yeah, that's when shit gets real. It gets pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one kind of sat with me pretty well.
Right. But I wanted to wind down on. I was just kind of curious. Like after I got back home, I'm like, what does Letterboxd think about Star Wars Episode 3: The Revenge of the Sith? And this is just in the first page of the Episode 3 Letterboxd reviews. Man murders coworkers after being denied promotion. 4.5 stars. If evil, why hot? 5 stars from a user named Kate. It just says, I can fix him, and then 3 exclamation points. Only Eric was going to get this. I did not choke her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not choke her. I did not. Oh, hi, Obi-Wan.
Cruel story, man.
Right. I clapped when Anakin killed the younglings. That's 3.5 stars.
Oh no.
And finally, if I were Mace Windu, I would have simply not have fallen out that window.
That's a rough one. That's like if Chris Jericho was in the third Star Wars movie, they call him Mace Windu because he was winded all the time on stage.
Any kind of case. So why don't we get to our little kind of prestige TV swap that we did?
Let's get prestigious. I had to look this up, by the way. I'm like, what is, because you put prestige in quotations. I'm like, what is prestige TV? And I guess it's a real thing. It's how a genre of TV, or it's like a category of TV shows.
It's kind of like a catch-all term for like
not mainstream,
that's a little bit more elevated by like the writing or the source material, or
I think it's public awareness. There's more public awareness of, or I don't know, just
could be like the kind of show that sort of gets attention or awards, or like that
Breaking Bad,
any of
those kind of shows. It's tough because it's like when we have to choose one of these, I was just like, I can't go with like the obvious ones. Because I mean, either I'm just going to sit there and talk about how wonderful it is, which everybody already knows, or how shitty something is, which people probably already know as well.
There are plenty of podcasts about fucking Breaking Bad, or like The Sopranos, or like The Wire, which is just what counts. So
yeah.
Let's start with Naveen's pick. This was show. All 3 of these shows, interestingly, are sort of kind of like Netflix, Netflix available or Netflix productions. But Naveen picked a show called You, which we all watched the pilot for. Now, You is a 2018 psychological thriller series based on a number of books by an author named Carolyn Kepnes, starring Penn Badgley. I guess like his biggest kind of credit, like prior to this, was he was one of the major characters on Gossip Girl. Elizabeth Lail, Luca Padovan, and Zach Cherry. The show premiered on the Lifetime network before moving over to Netflix, and just recently wrapped up its 5th season. Naveen, can you tell us like a little bit about the plot of the show and why this was your pick for this episode?
Sure. It was just something I kind of stumbled across, and it wasn't like recommended to me, and I just got hooked on it. So, I mean, each season, he's, falls in love with a girl, but he becomes a stalker, he becomes jealous, and then there's murders that happen that he does. It's kind of similar.
So it's a different girl each season, because it's Beck in the first season, the pilot he falls in love with.
Yeah, it's a different girl each season, except for there are a couple seasons where it's he does have the same girl interest, and it continues on in some sort of way, and then gets transferred to another girl, and then things change. So there are, like, for the season 4 and season 5, it's going to be the same girl that's going through, but it's kind of neat. And then I think 4 and 5, because you said they wrapped up season 5, right?
Yes.
Then season 2 and 3 have the same girl, but again, there's a girl that comes into play, and it's really neat how they do it. But it's just weird as well, the way the writing, the acting, it's kind of along the lines similar to similar to Dexter.
Dexter is I was going to say, like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah.
Dexter, he's working for the police station, but he murders serial killers. So he's like a serial killer.
There's a lot of voiceover narration. It's a lot of kind of like sort of like the kind of like the voices in my head, kind of like a sort of storytelling.
Right. So I mean, it got me hooked, and then there's it was a lot of fun to watch, even though it shouldn't be. It's like you're kind of rooting for this guy who's blatant stalker and murderer.
Wait, you were rooting for him?
There's some. If you continue going into there's some parts you're like, what's going on?
There was one scene that I was like, what's going on, when he was watching Beck and her from her, like, across the street, and she was in her apartment, and again, she doesn't have curtains for some reason, and he right before he helped that nice old woman out of her apartment building.
Harvey Weinstein style was having just like a wank into like the flowers.
He was, That's my. I was waiting for John to say, "What was your impression of the TV show?" And I would just say, "Gross, dude wanking off in the bushes while she vibed herself. WTF?"
Eric, let's start with you. What did you think about this?
Gross, dude wanking off in the bushes while she vibed herself. WTF? Frozen bells.
Frozen bells.
I was so. It's one of those shows where you don't really know what's going on, and I got those feelings right at the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is like one of those like romantic shows, and I looked it up right away for Wikipedia, and I saw it was developed by 2 people. One person was writer producer for Supernatural. The other was a writer producer for tons of stuff on like the CW and what, I forget what it was before CW. It was like WLVI or something, but it was like they worked on Dawson's Creek, Superman and Lois, Arrow,
a lot of
Flash,
like CW shows,
ton of stuff. So I was like, okay, these guys have chops. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, and there's moments where I'm just like, okay, I can understand why they put it on Netflix, because it just gets like a little dirty, or like the language. I'm like, that's not going to fly on CW. Right. So the thing I thought about this show is, I was watching it, I wasn't sure what was happening. When I realized that the main character was a stalker, get a little weird at moments. Because then at first I was kind of like, I hope it works out for them, this guy who's stalking Beck. But I just thought he was just, an introvert. He's just curious about her. He's just doing his homework. And then it just gets to the point where you're like, okay, now it's just a little too much now. Like, he can stop.
It pivoted pretty quickly to like sort of full on. It made a lot more sense to me reading that this started on Lifetime, because he sort of became. It pivoted pretty quickly to Lifetime movie of the week villain, in terms of just everything that he believed about himself. everything that he believed about like Beck and like the other like people in her life.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I thought it was interesting. I thought the writing was pretty decent. I like the whole joke about like the Dan Brown book. This guy's because that's the thing. Joe is like a bookstore manager. That's how he meets Beck originally, is that she comes into his bookshop and then she's looking for a book by somebody who's apparently what was it? Courtney Love's grandmother.
Sure.
An
Dorothy
actual
Parker,
thing.
I want to say.
I wrote it down. Paula Fox was the writer. And yeah, it's Courtney Love's actual grandmother, who's just like a famous writer. And so the woman goes in, Beck's going in there to get a book of hers. And then it just happens to be one of those things where Joe's kind of like observing the people around the bookstore. And he just stops on Beck and he's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, is that what this show's about? It's going to be every episode is he finds somebody. And then because later on in the show, not to spoil it, but, Beck, she has like a rough night. She's kind of into this creepy, like douchebag guy named Benji, who he took on the family business of doing like sodas or something.
Artisanal sodas.
Artisanal sodas. Yeah, and so Beck is trying to invite him out, and she was doing this kind of like there's this like open mic night where she was just reciting poetry. Benji was supposed to show up there. He doesn't. She's drunk. She's at like the train station waiting to catch a train, falls on the tracks. And then Joe saves her life. And so I'm like, that's what this is. He's kind of like, he treats himself as like a guardian angel, overseeing people who have trouble in their life. And he just happens to be there for them and help.
Oh, you thought it was going to be like a touch by an angel or like.
I didn't look at the description of the show at all. I just went into this blindly. So I'm like, okay, that's what it's going to be. Yeah. And I thought it was going to be like because as I was watching it, I felt like maybe this is like one of those late night, like NBC shows or something. Like mainstream TV shows. But yeah, that changed pretty quickly after it just gets like super creepy and then there's violence. But I mean,
when did you figure out, this is going like a serial killer show? For me, it's like the second they go down to the basement of the bookstore and they got sort of like the glass wall preservation chamber for like the really kind of old, like first editions. Like, oh, okay.
That sketched me out, especially when like he brought the neighbor's kid down there, and the kid is like what, like 12 or something. Right. He brings him down there, and he's explaining. They show flashbacks of his like Joe's dad, like yelling at him and just being like really like, he's you can tell he cares about like books and preserving books and like the exact like this is the temperature you maintain it at, and you don't allow them to be exposed to just like certain conditions. And I'm like, okay, this would fuck somebody up if this was being like beaten into your head all the time when you're just like, hey, I got this book and I want to read it and it looks fun. And your dad's like, dude, that's like a first edition of,
What was his line? Like sunlight kills books faster than fire? Which
something, that sounds
like
familiar.
Thing,
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, it discolors the pages, I'm sure. Causes them to get brittle.
So what do you think? Are you going to keep watching it to at least like into the second episode to sort of see like how things kind of wind out? Or
I think like you see the very end there or the first episode, and it kind of demands that you watch the next episode. He doesn't kill Benji, but he lures Benji, because he's in love with Beck, I guess. He lures Benji down to his basement, his kill basement. And, hits him in the head with the hammer that he was using to fix the binding for a book that the neighbor's kid's, mom's boyfriend broke.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh shit, he's dead. But then Benji wakes up and he's like, what are you going to do with me? He's like, maybe he's like, I don't think you know me. Like maybe. And he's like, no, I know you. I know you pretty well. I was like, oh shit. So, I mean, maybe I want to stick around to see Benji die. I don't want to see this guy hook up with Beck.
Yeah. Fair enough. I had kind of a tough time with the show. It's like a few months back. I tried watching Dexter. I got about like kind of halfway through like the first season. I just went, this really isn't for me. Like this whole conceit of the charismatic serial killer who kills serial killers, like the voiceover narration and being sort of judge, jury, and executioner, and kind of whatever else. I'm like, it's a little bit. The show was like a little bit. I didn't love the conceit. It was like a little bit too pro cop and pro vigilante justice and all the rest of that. And I was just like,
Oh wow.
Dexter wasn't my flavor.
I didn't realize you didn't watch that, or you didn't get into it. So many people. I watched it. I didn't watch like the they have the new run now of it. I didn't watch that. Right. I watched the original run of it. I thought it was pretty good. I read the books too.
Interesting.
I was getting them while they were still coming out. I thought they were pretty fun.
Right. Yeah, it's just well made. Obviously, like a ton of fans. My parents actually have named their cat for like the show Dexter. Like just
makes sense.
Yeah, wasn't my thing. This show, when I started watching it, like I was pretty quickly like, is this a Dexter? Is this? It felt to me like a little bit like a bunch of executives were sitting around and they're just like, let's make a Dexter, but what's the twist? So it's not like a direct ripoff, and it to me it felt like, oh, they started with let's do Dexter, but he's a rapey vibe stalker like Lifetime villain like on top of that. So I'm watching this thing and I'm like, I don't love the dialogue. Babsley has like a very sort of beautiful voice, and like the performance of the narration is good, but everything is just kind of like it was pretty absurd. It was kind of like pretty over the top. I lived about 2 minutes away from where Beck's apartment is supposed to be, like in the show, and
cool.
which
wait, who's the stalker now?
Who's the stalker? Google Maps.
Those bushes were just like wilting for months and months, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with the bushes.
I'm sitting there like this guy is really creepy, really gross, and like I got about like kind of halfway through, and I'm just like, I bet he has tons of women fans. I bet there are people out there that are like completely obsessed. Like I have kind of maintained for like a while that they can make a show called Shit Boyfriend, right? Which is about a literal pile of like manure that has like aviators and like carries a switchblade or something like that. And the whole show is about the shit boyfriend who's just literally like a pile of shit. And millennial white women would still be like, yeah, you know what? I can fix him. I can understand. So I'm reading. So I'll share it like in the group chat later. But there was an amazing on New York Magazine. There's an amazing recap of the first of the You pilot, where this woman where the author is starts out with like, this is a terrible show. It's not even so bad. It's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's bad. And then for like 20 paragraphs, breathlessly describes every single sort of batshit insane thing that happens like over the course of like the show. Mm-hmm. And then finally gets to the end of it, and she's like, I've just talked myself into a 3-star review. I'm sorry. I love the show. That's you sort of go out, you read other kind of YouTube like YouTube comments about like the trailers or like other like articles and things like that would rip out the show. You read articles by Penn Badgley himself, who's just like, I don't like this character. This is a terrible, awful character. Nobody should be falling for him. Nobody should be rooting for him. He's a complete like fucking nightmare. But it has this just absolutely bananas fandom, and like I said, it's so bonkers to me that this thing ran for like 5 seasons. Like I was saying, like this started was it 2017, and literally the last season dropped just like a week ago. So
I'll say this much: what it has going for it, I think Beck is hot. I love Beck.
Beck is very cute,
very dreamy, perfect girl.
Can you actually masturbate with like a neck pillow like that?
I don't know how he went. Like he got it going on pretty quickly. Like he just showed up hard. He's like, something's gonna happen tonight. There's gonna be a party. Let's go. He also had
just like jazzed up on like artisanal.
Everybody kept walking by that bush with like a box of tissue sticking out. They didn't even question it really. They're like, hey, that's kind of something. It's like it's modern art.
Right.
He also though
that like by the way is not what subsidized student housing looks like in New York. It's definitely not what it looks like in the
it's
fucking
just boxes of tissues in all the bushes. We give something back to the community. Keep the birth rate up. He Joe,
big poster of Michael Caine. Have an issue, here's a tissue.
Here's the thing. I saw the Minecraft movie yesterday.
Oh.
I don't want to get into it too much. We'll get into it later.
Okay. When
Hashtag
back,
Magma
we'll spoil it
Chicken.
for next week, but I'm really looking forward to hearing your takes. This is exciting.
So first thing they do, they have an extended trailer for the new Superman movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And they start out with a scene where it's like Superman lying face down in like the snow, and then he whistles and his dog comes to save him. But as soon as he like pulled his head up, I was like, oh my God, is that Joe? I thought it was Joe. I thought it was the same actor. I started looking it up right away.
Interesting.
I think this is my thing. I told you can't unsee this now that I've said it, but this is like he's like a poor man's Henry Cavill. Like he doesn't have the musculature. He's kind of trim guy. You know, he's not as attractive, not as manly, but he still has some semi-attractive features.
And there's a certain amount of kind of the complexion and the cotton.
Yeah, he's got a kind of little charming air to himself, like not too bad kind of guy. A touch nerdy, but I think girls, I think they like that kind of thing. Yeah. Like maybe, you know, if this was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this might not be your thing, but I think he just hits that sweet spot for women.
Sure. Well, it was an interesting choice. I mean, like they're not kind of quite my style. But
are you saying you're not going to stick with it?
I got too much else in the pipeline at this point.
too backed up in the pipeline.
I just got into Chris Jericho's band.
Yeah,
find out about this Little League thing.
Fozzie and the Muppet Babies. Wait, let me ask you, Naveen. Have you watched every episode up to the most stuff?
I haven't watched the new season that's been released.
Okay.
But everything up today. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We can. So this was Eric's pick. This is again another Netflix show called "The End of the Effing World." This is a 2018 British black comedy series based on the 2013 comic "The End of the Fucking World" by an author named Charles Forsman. The show stars Alex Lothar, Jessica Barden, Naomi Ackie, and a few years ago concluded it was being a BBC show. It originated out of Channel 4 and only ran for like about 2 seasons, but highly sort of like kind of critically acclaimed and extremely kind of well regarded. Could you tell us like a little bit about like the plot of the show and why this was your pick?
Love the show. So let me just say, I discovered the show one weekend a couple years ago. I don't remember when. I was looking for something to watch on Netflix. I found this show. I just had enough time. I went through the whole first season. I don't think the second season was out at the time. And I was like, this is such a great show. I love the characters.
Could you give like, listeners like a little overview? Of,
yeah. It's about these two 17-year-olds. This guy named James, this chick named Alyssa. James, he's convinced that he's a psychopath. When he was really young, he would kill animals. He killed 15 animals in total, and he actually remembers everything that he's killed. And so he's convinced that he's ready for bigger game. And so he's going to move on to kill a human for the first time. He also is kind of dead inside. When he was younger, he stuck his hand in a deep fat fryer to feel something, I guess. I read the graphic novel, by the way. It's kind of ass. It's not as good.
Really?
But here's the thing that was awful is in the comic, he actually sticks his hand in a not a food processor, a garbage disposal.
Ooh, okay.
And
so it's fully kind of done up and
he's got like 2.5 fingers, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see how that could, they could keep that sustainable in the show, but whatever. I just love this thing though. He has one hand that's just like deep fried. He also has his dad's a dick. He's a total dickhead. He has this one joke. I did think it was funny though. He's just like, hey James. He's like, why doesn't the queen wave with this hand? He's like, I don't know. He's like, because it's my hand.
That was a good one.
What an asshole.
I remember a version of that joke from the 1995 MTV Music Awards, where Aerosmith for some reason is on stage with Madonna, and then Steve Tyler comes up. He's like, "Hey Joe, got a question for you. Why does Madonna masturbate with these two fingers? Because they're mine." A lot of latitude there.
Snaps.
Snap.
I like it.
Talk about a fingersmith.
So then there's James.
So that's
there's
James,
Alyssa,
and then there's Alyssa.
Yeah, Alyssa. She has some work to do. She loves chaos. Just says whatever's on her mind, and it's usually pretty filthy. James describes her as like a nymphomaniac, or that's his impression of her. Just because she's, I forget what she says. She says something like, "When I get angry and sad at the same time, it makes me a little horny." Something like that. But she also, you can see that there's two sides to her. She has like the crazy side to her. She also has that kind of like innocent side where she's just, she's a 17-year-old. She's still trying to figure herself out.
She talks about sex a lot. She uses like a lot of dirty words, but there's not really like enough, like a lot kind of backing it up.
It's a distraction for, what's really going on. There's also like her family life, which just sucks. Her parents divorced. Her mom got married to this guy who she considers, his name's Tony. He's like the perfect guy. They have the perfect house. They've got the perfect twins. Tony is kind of a creep, and he makes like a comment to Alyssa once, like, you should get a bigger bra, or like puts his hand on her back. He also tells her at one point in the show, like, you know what, if you don't like being here, you should just go. Nobody's going to miss you. And you learn that shortly after, when she tries to call home, like her mom doesn't even want to take the phone. So whatever that tells you. So they've got this kind of fucked up life, but it does this kind of like Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing where they're like, we both got
essentially like the first season, they make a decision like everything is fucked.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of go on the run and sort of see how things play out.
Yep. Let's go on the run, see what happens. And it turns to shit pretty quickly, but it's a fun journey. I will say this, it does not like trail off as the series goes on. Like this, the first season at least goes on. It hits pretty hard throughout, so I think it's one to stick through.
Sweet. Now, have you watched both seasons of this, or just like the first one?
No, I've just seen the first season. I haven't come back to it, but the weekend I watched this first season, the first season of this show, there was another show I discovered. It was like one of those recommendations on Netflix this was also written by Charles Forsman, ironically, because he's only written like maybe 2 graphic novels, and this one's called "I Am Not Okay with This."
Oh, sure.
Have you ever heard of this?
Seen that sort of like advertised.
Yeah. It has the 2 of the kids from the first It movie. The one that plays Beverly, and then the kid that plays Stanley, Sophia Lillis and Wyatt Olaf. And that was it's a similar vein kind of thing. But I'll say this, it's kind of like a take on Carrie almost.
Oh, sure.
Teen growing up, fucked up situation, her dad's dead.
Bullied at school. Like
it's great because the very first episode, it starts, the opening is, it shows Sophia Lillis, she's covered in blood, like drenched in blood, walking down the road towards the camera, and you can hear her voice as the narration saying, "Dear diary, go fuck yourself." And then every episode continues from that point on, but just a little, for maybe like 10 seconds. And then it brings you like up to speed to how she got to that point, which was a cool thing. So that's another one to check out too. That was only 1 season. It was produced by somebody. It was a producer for Stranger Things. So they thought, similar-esque to Stranger Things might take off, but it only ended up being 1 season.
Okay.
But
everything that I've sort of read critically, the end of the effing world on the BBC, it did run for like 2 seasons. They bring in Naomi Ackie in like the second one as like this kind of third major character to like the story. But everything Red said that the first season is pretty much a perfect self-contained story, and like the second season, it's there if you really like these characters. Some you can kind of check out, but everything critical, at least that I read, said it's kind of a superfluous one. Like the real sort of gold in it isn't like the first 8 episodes in that original run.
I think they're probably making it up for the second season because I mean I think the first season captures the book. I didn't
Right.
finish the book, but I mean, it wasn't very long. It's also not a funny graphic novel. It seems
Sure.
kind of like maybe it's from something personal or something, or people this guy knew.
Right.
Like the thing I love about the show is how they keep going with James. Like he has that keeps flashing to where he's like, you know, how am I going to kill her?
Right.
Or where am I going to kill her? How am I going to do it? There's a scene where he.
If you've never had those thoughts, you've never really been in love. So.
And this is where John goes, you know what? I watched a show called Dexter, which feels very similar to this, and it just wasn't for me.
Wasn't for me. Well, Naveen, what do you think about this one?
I still can't kind of figure it out. So I am going to continue watching it because it's just those points. Like I didn't know whether to laugh or whether to be feeling disturbed at some points at the same time. So it's really interesting. It's again, I actually kind of like it, and I want to continue just to see what happens. But it's just this whole weird thing again with that whole vibe of James being a psychopath, wanting to figure out how to murder her, but then makes some kind of excuse to be like, no, it's not ready, and I can't do it yet, and moves on. And then the other side of Alyssa, just a different kind of psychopath, I suppose. Still trying to feel something, but just kind of using and being like.
Most of us have dated her at one point or another.
Yeah.
She's crazy, but I love like the second episode where they hitchhike, and the guy, he's just kind of like the bird. He's like, "Hey, the bird, am I right?" Just the way she talks is just unfiltered.
Right. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Again, just still not quite sure what to really think of it with just the 2 episodes.
Right.
But wanting to see what happens and where it goes, and again, trying to figure out is it the right time to laugh, or is that is it like
it's definitely, it has a comedic tone, but that tone is very British, very black, very, very dark, and kind of nihilist.
Which is good. I mean, I like it.
I mean, there's some. I wrote down all my favorite quotes from it, but something I like is the very beginning when it's like Alyssa pursues James, and then afterwards she's just like, "Well, you waiting for me?" He's just like, "Yeah," and then they just start making out, and she's just like, "What happened?"
She's just kind of gnawing on his jaw.
Yeah, they're like, she's like makes like slobbering all his face, and she's just like, "What happened to your hand?" And he's just like, "Shut up," and then they just keep making out.
Well, I like the narration though of James when he's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pretend to fall in love with her, so she falls in love with me, so I can lure her into."
Right.
Yeah.
I just watched it earlier today. I really liked it. I thought that the performances were great. I thought the 2 young actors that they got to play James and Alyssa are really incredible in this thing.
Yeah.
Like Naveen, I'm struggling a little bit. Like, what is the show? What is it ultimately trying to say? And like this, it does sort of feel like the full theme or idea or message. You probably got to get like a few more episodes like into the season to sort of fully understand what's going for. Reminds me of like a lot of kind of like the hip kind of like a 90s indie comic aesthetic, like with it sort of like the nihilism and like it just everything is at like kind of like an orthogonal angle. There's like a little bit of like a Wes Anderson kind of vibe, like some of it.
Yeah.
Ghost World is I think like a very, very obvious kind of like a touchstone. Or what was what's that really fun, really crazy comic you lent me, Eric, about the witch and the cat and the Mog and
Yeah. It's called Meg, Mog, and Owl.
Yeah.
Again, here's the funny thing, you mentioned that too, is that was an Australian artist and writer that came up in that series. But if I remember it correctly, Charles Forsman is also Australian. So
wow,
if you like this other one, that's all about like, a witch hanging out with an owl and like a black cat, and they just like do a shit ton of drugs,
right.
And have weird sex. You'll like this.
It's an amazing comic, really incredible piece of just
Yeah.
Owl goes through so much.
Oh my God, they're just so mean to Owl, just so mean.
What's the thing in that comic of like the wolf hollows out an arcade cabinet?
Wolfman Jones, yeah.
And then he gets in the cabinet and he sticks his dick up through like the control port. He pulls his dick and his balls up, and then they're like, "Oh, you should go check out that cool video game over there."
Yeah. He creates like a giant car. He takes like a refrigerator box and he fashions into like a video game or something, and then he takes his dick and his balls and he pushes it up through the top, so it's kind of like a joystick, and then the buttons, and he's just like, keep moving the joystick, keep hitting the buttons, go, and then he's just like, and then it just squirts a little up top, and it just says, "You win."
I got to get my own copy of that book.
I need a drink.
What is happening in Australia?
I need to smoke. I don't smoke, but I need to smoke.
If I had to sort of speculate about what's the vibe, or what's the idea, or what's the thing is that it's kind of really like the show is really examining, my guess would be probably kind of just the I think a lot. I remember sort of being back in like the Northeast like a few months back and talking to my brother has a bunch of friends who are kind of like elementary and middle school and high school teachers, and talking to them about how developmentally damaging COVID was for like a lot of their students. Basically, like this, like sort of multiple years where the kids basically had no kind of socialization, had no experience with sort of life outside of like their homes and like the pieces of technology that they interacted with. Kind of feels to me like this show was sort of it's kind of saying things generally about a certain type of person in the world, but also maybe more specifically about how for like a lot of kind of younger kind of Gen Z kids, the experience of just what the world itself is, what technology has done, certainly like the specifics of kind of pandemic and just being just kind of just socially isolated for everybody. I like that scene in like the pilot where Alyssa is sitting at a table with a bunch of other girls, and the girl literally sitting across from her sends her a text instead of actually saying something to her. It's interesting watching this show, and I think like the comments that it seems to sort of be making. Again, this is speculating, just having watched only a couple, but seems to be kind of talking about how Gen Z kids, because of like the world, because of their upbringing, because of technology, because of just this like a lot of kind of fuck things have just kind of happened to this generation, they can't even act on their basic instincts. James wants to kill, can't bring himself to do that. Alyssa wants to have sex, can't bring themselves to do that. They talk about it, they think about it, but when sort of push comes to shove, everybody, both are so repressed and kind of bound up in their own in these inhibitions. It's at the end of the second episode. It's a struggle for James just to even kind of cuddle with Alyssa, like in like the hotel room that they're actually staying at.
Yeah, I will say this too about the show. The thing that I loved about it is the music.
Sure.
I'm into a ton of like indie bands and stuff like that, and two songs. It's like they're in the second episode that I actually was listening to quite a bit after I had watched the show. One is called Walking All Day by Graham Coxon. Mm-hmm. Walking all day till my legs are tired and I'm thinking about you. And that was a really good one. That's fun when they're like walking through the forest and stuff. And then there's another one. It's at the very end. Yeah. When they're like, she's like, Alyssa says like, James, will you cuddle me? And then they're playing that song, We Might Be Dead by Tomorrow. I'm sorry. We Might Be Dead by Tomorrow by Soko. And I loved that song. I don't know what it was about that song. It was so deep. It, I don't know, something about it's just haunting and beautiful. But yeah, I just love a show that has like solid writing, just great music. And the thing I like about this show as well is just like, especially in the first 2 episodes, I don't feel like anything's really wasted. I think everything is just like another little picture of kind of into their lives and what's going on and all the shit that they've been like
pacing, the editing, the character building, which is something that like
building up to
a
what
lot of British
happens.
TV does to really excellent effect, but it is definitely exceptional in this one.
Yeah, I do. A couple of things I liked from it though. The creepy army vet that picks them up. I love when James is out there trying to like, hitchhike, and he has his thumb in the air, and he's just like, nobody's gonna stop. Why is nobody stopping? And it's just like, it's probably because you get your tits out because he had no shirt on. And I'm like, that's kind of silly. That's funny. Also the fact that they were at a diner, and then James and the creepy guy go in to take a piss. The guy, he was in the army for 5 years. He's killed a bunch of people. He just looks over at James and he's like, what happened to your hand? And then I think he said like, I burned it in like a deep fryer or something. And the guy steps a little close to him, and he just pulls it up and starts smelling it. Probably that like fetish of just like burning flesh in battle or something like that. I don't know what it is. And then he puts it on his wang. And then James is just like, he's like, sometimes I just let things happen. No, I don't want them to. I'm not sure why. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of goes with that whole thing. Like, you're dead inside and you just need like definition to who you are and understanding what's right and wrong. And Alyssa walks in. She's like, are you gay? And he's just like, no, no. And she's like, are you gay? He's like, no, I don't think so. It's just funny. It's just funny stuff. So random.
So for the two of you as kind of fathers of teenagers, where they're kind of recognizable sort of things and things in there that you've kind of seen either with your own kids or with like the or like your kids' friends or anything like that, the self-involvement with technology or like repression or kind of like the nihilism kind of aspects of what they show here. This convincing is kind of modern teenagers.
My son is more into like the whole technology thing. Although I do see the part where it's just kind of like when he's not doing his phone and I tell him to do something different, he just kind of shuts down and goes to sleep or something like that. Especially if he doesn't have any friends to hang out with. He's like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to go to sleep. And I'm like, there's so much you could do. But that's like me trying to convince like a kid that it's beautiful weather outside and you should be going out and exploring and doing all kinds of whatever. I don't know. I say stuff and then I sound like a dad because I'm like, you should go out and find some trails and go hiking and explore and find these cool paths. And he's just
just get the
what you sound like.
Paint a white picket fence or something. So,
yeah. Why don't you guys go draw some still life? I've got some fruit in the kitchen. Just take it out back.
Devine, what do you think?
Maybe a little bit of extreme. I mean, there's always a little bit of, I guess, each of those characters within, your kids. I suppose at some point, we probably had some of those feelings and things as 100%. We were growing up, through adolescence and all that stuff. So yeah, it's there, but a little bit probably.
The 90s was very, very much this vibe. Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's definitely that technology side. My daughter's, on her screens and, trying to do homework and all this stuff and not really concentrating on that and just trying to do multiple things at once. But I guess that's what it is. It's like, that's where they are.
Yeah.
They know how to use technology, but they don't know how to repair it or troubleshoot it.
Or necessarily how to kind of put it down when like the times are appropriate.
Right.
Very cool, very interesting pick. So let's go on to like the last one. This was my pick for discussion. This is Soldier of Illusion. This is the first and second episode of the fourth season of Documentary Now. Now this is an American-based mockumentary TV series that initially aired on IFC, created by Fred Armisen, Bill Hader, Seth Meyers, and Rice Thomas. The fourth season, this aired initially in October of 2022. The two episodes, it's a two-part episode starring Alexander Skarsgård, Fred Armisen, and a German actor named August Diehl, probably most famous for playing one of the commandants in what was the Quentin Tarantino Nazi movie? Why am I drawing a blank on this?
Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds. Thank you. These two episodes of the show follow a filmmaker played by Skarsgård named Rainier Woltz, who is making a documentary about the indigenous people of the Ular Mountains while also trying to film a CBS sitcom pilot.
What's it called, Johnny?
Yeah, what's it called?
What's it called? Maybe I've heard of it.
Bachelor Nanny.
Oh, Bachelor Nanny, huh?
Is that with Franz Jester?
Yeah, did they play that on the CW?
Sexist, Niall. You had a woman down on all fours.
The nanny was vibing herself all hot while I was in the bushes making a nanny out of her.
So Alexander Skarsgård plays a director named Rainier Woltz, and August Diehl plays in the second episode a German actor named Dieter Daimler. Basically comes in to replace the American sitcom star Gary Jacks, who gets sort of pulled out of production by sort of like the Russian infantry. And this whole thing, Rainier and Dieter are very, very literalized stand-ins for Werner Herzog and Klaus Kinski, who had a very famous, very kind of tumultuous relationship. They made five total movies together: Aguirre, The Wrath of God, Nosferatu, Wozak, Fitzcarraldo, and Cobra Verde.
Oh, that's
and they're
real.
famous for being, they were famous for being very good friends, but also over the course of their kind of collaboration, multiple times literally tried to kill each other. So this mockumentary is written by John Mulaney, and it's a pastiche of a bunch of different kind of Herzog films and documentaries, like the big five that was listed in Wikipedia, include Burden of Dreams, Grizzly Man, Into the Abyss, Little Dieter Needs to Fly, and a documentary that Herzog made after Klinsky passed called My Best Fiend, which basically sort of like it's a documentary sort of depicting just like the very the completely like just bananas like relationship like the two of them had. So yeah, the overall, gentlemen, what did you guys think? Devine, let's start with you.
Sure. It was it was definitely funny. It was really well done and written. Just some of the things coming out there, and the attack by the other tribe while they had this live audience that had to be flown in to watch the Bachelor
from Woodland, California.
Yeah. That's where they make the perfect audiences.
Yes, that's where they make the perfect audience. Just some of those things. It was on par, I would say, with Spinal Tap. Obviously, not necessarily about a band or music, but just about a person who makes a documentary and just those jokes that you kind of have to think about a little bit and to really understand. And it's so deadpan and presented really well. So it was just hilarious, and of course the bear attack.
The first time I watched this, I literally started applauding in my den by myself when like the bear actually showed up. Obviously, we covered Grizzly Man on the podcast like a few months back. This having you guys watch this is a little bit of my kind of apology tour for when we were supposed to be doing mockumentaries. I kept coming back to the craziest, most sort of comical and fake seeming of anything I can kind of think of was this actual sort of real Werner Herzog kind of documentary.
This is a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a mockumentary, and this might be my favorite mockumentary of all time. Obviously, just everybody's incredible in it. The level of joke writing, it's every 20 seconds the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard just kind of comes I've ever heard comes firing out, like the depth and density of the jokes that it just kind of throws at you. Like I watched it the second time earlier this week. I'm probably going to watch it like for a third time tonight, like after we finish it.
Yeah. You're such a bastard. I feel like you probably recommended this show to me. Like we both know about the show. You're the one who originally introduced me to the show, and I love all the writers for it.
Oh, sure, of course.
Huge Bill Hader fan.
It's Hader and Armisen and Myers and John
Myers.
Mulaney. Yeah, these are all like the best of the best. Our generation, like.
they also, and it's great because every different episode of the show, they tackle something different, or they make, it's a riff on something else that's out there. Like they had that Jiro Dreams of Sushi one,
right?
That they did.
Pablo dreams of chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was again, it's like I can't take notes for this because I'm just constantly writing down all the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't take notes because I would just write down every single line of dialogue.
I did write this. I wrote it. It's right at the very beginning where it's like, was it his name? Reiner Voltz.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just like, he's sitting there. He goes, the last time I visited here, I was filled with Bavarian pride. And he's looking at like the Dushkir Valley. And then it just cuts to him shooting an arrow for no reason. He hits a bullseye. Like, he doesn't hit the bullseye, but he hits the board from the target from far away. Right. And it just shows a tribesman holding it up, and he just turns to him and he just starts smiling. And I'm like, I started getting like Wes Anderson vibes, especially for like Steve Zissou, like around that era of his movies.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, I'm in for a ride. And it's just like from there, there's so many funny lines. Bachelor Nanny. It's about a guy who has to juggle babies and babes. Fred Armisen, by the way, is great in this.
This is the observation and detail of Gary Jacks being like the douchebag, kind of 80s, kind of edgy, but not really comic, with the jean jacket and the fucking haircut.
I didn't want him to get kidnapped, as he does later in the first episode or the first half. But my favorite scene of both episodes is when Gary Jacks is in the hut, and then Reiner's like, "You have to do the ritual." He's like, "Do the ritual," and he's got the other guy with the wolf, and he's just like,
not even texting him like the wolf game. The wolf game is going to be Eric's favorite.
The wolf. He's showing to the wolf head, and he's just like, "Rawr, rawr," and he's like, Jerry's just like, "Here I come," and he's got his little like thing of like reeds or whatever, and he's like, "What do I do with this? What do I do?" And then Reiner's like, he's like, "Kill it," and then he goes, and he hits it. And then they just start screaming. They're like, "Oh!" And he's like, "Oh no, you killed your brother! No, you must beg him for forgiveness." And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
It's a relatable moment. Both Eric and I have spent kind of time living in Japan, and you do have these moments when you're living in a completely different culture and you don't necessarily kind of speak the language, where you think you're doing something that makes sense, and you fuck it up completely.
Yeah.
It's
again, there's like there's so many. It's like every 2 minutes there's something funny happening.
Right. The random black guy they cast on the sitcom who just comes out. He's got the Jericho. He just comes out. All he does is pop and lock.
What is he doing? What is he doing? He's dancing. People loved it. I like the whole. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say with even the whole theme song introduction to the show, and how it's totally 80s, and they look in the camera and the name is there. I thought that was a great, with how they just reprised that and brought that back, the old the 80s opening credit scenes.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, here's the actor, and they look in the camera and smile.
Yeah.
The show in the first episode just kind of focuses on Rainier, and the whole thing could have just been about Werner Herzog, and it still would have been fantastic. But the midpoint of like between the first and the second, we say in the pod a lot, that's the midpoint is where you really that's the point in traditional script writing where you really elevate the stakes, bringing in the Klaus Kinski character standing on top of the mountain, just kind of screaming down.
I am the sun, dickheads. Dieter Dimmler. I agree that I thought the second episode was going to be kind of like lukewarm compared to the first one, and it just starts out talking about like Dimmler's backlog and what he's worked on with Reiner, and then they show him like they're filming that movie Dimmler was in where he's playing a small person,
fun size. Right.
Fun size person, and then he's sitting there and he's saying his lines.
He's just going, Papa.
I forget what it was about, but he's saying his lines, and all of a sudden he's just like, "Oh shit! I have to make a phone call." He's like, no, I'll make it after. And then he's like, all right, don't cut. And he's like, keeps going. And then he's just like, does his line again. He's like, Papa. And he's like, no, but I got to really call them today because they're going to be closing today. And I like this time, they're closing soon. I got to call them. I got to make it. Mm-hmm. And then the guy, Reiner's like, he's like, oh, we can just cut it. And he just pulls out the gun. He's just like, I forget what he says. He's just like, if you cut right now, he's like, I'm going to like kill you or something. And then it just cuts to him like delivering the lines again, but he's holding the gun the entire time. He's like always holding a weapon, which I love about it. There's like a scene where he's just like holding a knife randomly.
No, we're not cutting. You don't need to do the take again.
Yeah, I know. You don't need to take again.
The build up, which is the build up at like the end of the second episode, which it directly references something that happened while the two of them were like filming Fitzcarraldo, and at which point Werner actually had an agreement with like the Colombian natives that he was working with, that if Klaus kept on acting crazy, basically, these guys were like ready to slit his throat. Mm-hmm. But the scene of the whole second episode is just Dieter being a maniac and kind of yelling at Rainier and like abusing everybody and just being like a complete like fucking maniac, and then trying to act, sort of getting the giggles, and like then deciding he wants to like improvise on like the set, like, and everything else. Yeah. The scene where Rainier breaks and he just turns around really, really slowly, and Skarsgård.
Yeah, your mother's moaning or something.
Like he's better known as like an action star, kind of a sex symbol from True Blood and everything. But he's really funny and kind of just artsy and mellow, and he's pretty laid back in like this thing. But it's when he breaks and he turns around and he starts walking up. He gets up on the stage and he's just fucking towering over Dieter, and he's like, Dieter, we need to finish the shot. Otherwise, the village elders and I will have to disembowel you. And we do not want to do that. We do not want to subject the good people of Woodland, California to such carnage. Fucking shivers just watching that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Sure. Who was your favorite character in this?
Christ. It's
Tell me who it is. I have a thought, but I could be
wrong. I'd have to think about like a little bit.
What about you, Naveen?
He was a child actor, but they brought him back.
Gordy.
Yeah.
Kevin Butterman.
Yeah. Kevin Butterman. Yeah.
You like Kevin Butterman?
Yeah. Very minor role for the most part, but just funny. And
Brad Armisen doesn't do a ton in this one, but every fucking second that he's on stage is just amazing. Yeah.
Oh, don't show like the bear attack scene, and he's like Reiner showing him the clip, and he's just like, "Oh God, don't show me that!"
As like the fucking Jewel Powell back there.
He's like, "We should get rid of this because nobody should see this." He's like, "Yeah, like that's the correct response."
Right, but then it's like, but we're definitely going to change the hair, right?
Yeah. We're gonna Gary Jack's hair. We're gonna change that, right? Okay.
Also, good. Fucking the Rainier's German buddy from like the first episode. He's not in like the second one so much, but like he basically, when the bear attacks the camp, there's some voiceover line of like, and then he stabbed the bear and his girlfriend 68 times before they escaped the safety of death.
And he's wearing those like robes or whatever after that. From then on, he wore his like traditional robes. I thought you were gonna say macho. I always thought you were kind of like a macho guy. It's like the chief's daughter or whatever that played April in their show. I was like, what a pick! Like again, the cast that they choose for this show, Bachelor Nanny. They're like they have
it's either like the most sort of obvious 80s cliches or completely insane casting choices they did from like the local tribe. What was the thing of like, we had to scour 500 miles to find like an actual sort of set of twins, but they brought them in. But then like, the twins are going to be doubles. Yeah, and they found another pair of twins, like these 60-year-old women. There's some line of like
Sisters Brunsk.
The Sisters Brunsk, who are not beloved by God.
Yeah. I love it though. They're like, yeah, we need Nunt and Dunt, the two mute boys. They just sit there. It's like they're like, oh, they have the pacifiers. Oh, the pacifiers. That's a good touch.
But even when they found the 60-year-old twins, they're like jeering. They're like, "Yes, we found it. We did it. Perfect."
Yeah, that was a great job. Yeah, that was so smart. We're so smart.
Yeah, Christ. I don't know. Just joy to watch the thing again. Really happy that like the two of you just
even the ending too. The way they end it, where they have like Dieter's ashes in like the urn, and they're sent to Reiner. Yeah, with a letter, and it's just like he reads it. He's just like, "Hey, shit mouth, spread my ashes."
I died of cancer. You know where to spread my ashes.
Yeah, you know where to spread
Supposedly,
my ashes.
and I think I have to watch this documentary now. But so like the first scene. They showed Dieter where he's in a monologue screaming at a German audience like, "You are whores, and your brothers are whores, and your mother's brothers are whores." The Herzog documentary about Kinski, My Best Fiend, literally starts with an actual clip of Klaus Kinski doing an exact performance like that for like a German avant-garde theater company. Then just everybody in the audience is like, "Booing."
That's funny. Here's the thing. It's like, I watched this. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
John Mulaney is a writer. All the skits that he's written for like SNL just been amazing. I never really kind of fell in love with him as like a comedian or like an actor.
Really?
Yeah, he irks me. It's just something about his personality and just his delivery of things. I don't like it. But his writing is just like
is laser focused. I mean, it's I think for a comedy writer, getting to do a Herzog project like this is just because everything about his films are so insane and interesting, and everything about like the man himself is so like insane and so interesting. Yeah. It just had to be. I'm going to come clean on Mike with something for like the two of you. I actually, after we did our Grizzly Man episode, wrote a Werner Herzog monologue that I was going to deliver in character at the start of the show, and I've been too much of a coward to to actually like pull the trigger on that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
what are you looking for? Do you want us to like pressure you into it, or
I've just got to bite the bullet, and I just maybe not for the Dick Tracy episode, but I'm going to try my best to practice it and deliver that once. So. Be on the lookout for that.
Huh. Should I dress up as like a bear or something? I'll come out and just go, rah, rah. Preach, brother, preach.
Who killed your brother? So just a fucking, for me, this was the funniest thing that I think like I watched in like 2024. I'm very happy to share with you.
Again, you're a bastard. You always recommend stuff to me.
Yeah.
And this one I felt you should try it harder.
There
was an opportunity there, and I think you should just push a little harder for this one.
Eric and I have maybe like a bit of a Rainier and Dieter sort of relationship.
It's front to back. This was just a beautiful thing to watch.
Right. Yeah.
Again, really just has those Wes Anderson vibes that I just picked up on. It's great. It's good.
Right. All right. So that's pretty much it. Why don't we kind of wind things down there? Any kind of closing thoughts?
No, got some interesting shows to watch. I mean, I'll probably keep up with the end of the fucking world or effing world. Documentary now, I'll probably like throw in there if I just need something quick and fun to watch.
It's a lot richer if you've actually seen the original documentary, and there's a ton of stuff on there that I'm like, I've never even heard of like the source material for these things.
Not all of them are good, but there is a handful of really good ones. So if you need recommendations.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a show. Obviously, you can just jump in anytime, basically, and watch here and there. You don't have to watch it like sequentially to really understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah. John's going to continue with you, so that's a small win. You.
I'll summarize it like this: it's not me, it's you.
Aww.
Pretty good.
This guy.
Yeah. Why do we end there? Rebels Without a Pod, episode 48. Next week, we will be back wrapping up our Neo Noir cycle with Andy's pick, 1990 Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy. We're going to do, hopefully, have our senior Youth in America correspondent come on to talk a little bit about the Minecraft movie, like ahead of our discussion of film. And I think at the end of that one, we're going to be announcing our picks for the upcoming film cycle, which is unconventional superheroes. So really looking forward to that conversation. And, gentlemen,
nice.
Take care.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Cool.